Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. How are you? Thanks, everyone, for coming over from the Donut Raid at Spurs Talk Show. We appreciate you. You know what to do. Lots to talk about today, as always. We got to smash the like before we get going, though. Smash the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and don't worry, smash subscribe, smash like, share, and hype, like Igor Tudor says. Guys, we are sponsored by OK Jersey. 1 second.
OK Jersey.
We're sponsored by OK Jersey. 8% off available at checkout using code FINK. Do take a look. They update their retro gear all the time. I'm in constant communication saying, add this, add that, add the other. Now, they won't keep doing it unless you buy them. So if you want them, then keep looking in. More and more to come as we go forward. Big up to them for the sponsorship. Also, don't forget, guys, that we are available on all your podcast platforms. We really could do with the podcast platform growth. So I will get the link. It's already in the description, but I'll get the link and put it in.
Yeah, please hit that because that could definitely be growing far more than it has. We know loads of you listen, but it's just a press of a button. That's all we're asking for you. We give you the show. All we ask is you press those buttons. It's a fair do, and it doesn't cost you anything, which is great. Sorry, Shawnee.
I love that. Sean, you're on the wrong side. It's like Deck and Ant at the moment.
Yeah.
Rather than Ant and Deck. Like that. Oh, did I miss a super chat? I'm sorry, mate. I'm so sorry. Really sorry, my man. Sorry. Smash the like. Apologies. In the next show, just put it back in a normal chat and I'll bring it up. Big up to everyone for coming in. Please do like, subscribe, and comment, all that stuff. Johnny, how are you, my man? Good to see you.
I'm okay. All good. Looking forward to the week ahead. 2 massive games for us. Big Champions League tonight. Trouble in the Villa sphere with Emery. Outrage amongst fans as to the way Chelsea have been given this treatment of the ban and the fine. And lots of comments in the press about how Arsenal could become one of the most unpopular teams to ever win the title due to the fact that so much of their, despite spending 250 million, so many of their goals are scored via set plays. So plenty to get our teeth into, Sean. That's for sure.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Listen, you've obviously titled the show "Outrage at Chelsea Fine and Ban Farce," but you said that there's more detail.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can go through the ban, but I'll just to add that Chelsea are also still waiting for a conclusion of a separate Football Association investigation into another 74 breaches, which could well result in a further punishment. According to the Premier League sanction agreement, there were not only obvious and deliberate breaches of the rules, but also they involved deception, concealment in relation to financial matters. Consequently, they had been uncovered without Chelsea's current ownership, self-reporting, and demonstrating exceptional cooperation with the investigation. The agreement states that the Premier League board would have regarded a 2-window transfer ban and 20 million fine as the appropriate sanction. The one saving grace, and a big reason why Chelsea were always confident they would avoid a sporting penalty, is that the Premier League's conclusion that in no scenario would the club have breached the profitability, sustainability rules. I'm not quite sure how they work that one out, considering the fact that they sold the club to themselves, the women's football team to themselves, the hotel to themselves. One of the things that's really galling for any fan, but especially for a Spurs fan, is Blue Co have also operated in the shadow of this Premier League investigation. It's worth taking a moment to lay out the scale of the governing body's what the governing body found and Chelsea accepted. The Premier League sanction agreement says there were no fewer than 36 payments totaling more than £47 million made by third-party entities controlled by or associated by Abramovich to 12 individuals, corporate entities between 2011 and 18 for the benefit of the club and not reported at all to the league. If that sounds a little bit abstract, right? Let me just consider the fact that the signings were Eden Hazard, William, David Luiz, Ramirez, Nemanja Matic, and Samuel Eto'o. And when you consider...
What's the precedent here, Johnny? Just quickly, before you get into that, right? Couldn't, just for example, Aston Villa, whose manager we'll come to in a minute, but he's furious because he's just so limited by the PSR and the FFP regulations, right? What's to stop them carrying on signing players, and then any agents' fees or any of that stuff that's caught up in the cost of those transfers, just don't declare them. Just don't declare them ever, right? Just never do it. And then when Aston Villa finally move on and sell their own, when those owners move on, the next owner comes in, the next owner just goes, well, sorry, we've uncovered that there was 100 million quid in agents' fees that weren't paid by Benghazi or whatever his name, not Benghazi, what was the guy's name? Benduzi, whatever the Aston Villa chairman's name is, right? And then the same shit happens in 10 years' time. Oh, Aston Villa go, sorry, it wasn't us, it was the previous guy.
You set a precedent.
You set the precedent now. It's a fucking joke, mate. It's an absolute joke. Just because you inherited and it wasn't you that did it, you've inherited all of the brand value that allows you to attract the players that you attract because of the errors of your predecessor. And like,
you
also,
cheated.
How well are these books being audited by the Premier League? If the Premier League are only aware of these things because Todd Bowley went, oh, we uncovered this. Why didn't they uncover it?
Listen, when Chelsea came second in the league, when Spurs came second to Chelsea, that season, Eden Hazard, who'd been signed, was the top goal scorer. He was the number one player in the Premier League.
And William was the player of the season.
He was going to Spurs. We paid for all his flights and he hopped out the window and signed for Chelsea on an illegal deal.
Where's our compo? Where there's blame, there's a claim, Johnny.
But I mean, they're saying that, because they helped us out. They helped us out, right? So, but where's the circumventing of the rules with the loans that they've done?
Who gives a fuck? First of all, why can't the Premier League uncover this shit? Don't forget, mate, the 115 charges at City. The only reason that stuff ever became a thing was because City's emails got hacked. So had that hacker not hacked the City email, we would never know about the 115 charges. Like, it could be rife. It could be happening at Newcastle. It could be happening at United. It could be happening at Tottenham. I doubt it's happening at Tottenham because Tottenham are just going this way rather than that way. But like, these things could be happening everywhere because the only way that the Premier League have uncovered either of these two things is in City's case because of an email hack that they didn't do, that they were just the beneficiary of the evidence from. And because Chelsea's new owners went, oh, we found this from the last owners. Why didn't they find them when they were auditing the books?
I mean, look, he made a material... Eden Hazard, it's not his fault, but Eden Hazard made a material difference to Chelsea winning the league. He was their top goal scorer. Along with William.
For 5 years.
I mean, Tottenham came second to Chelsea by 7 points. Eden Hazard was Chelsea's best player that season with 16 goals. Today's been shown that the transfer was literally illegal. I mean, it's just absolute cheating. It's no other. I mean, the other thing, the 9-month ban on recruiting academy players. This is also loaded with caveats, right? It only applies to footballers who've been registered with the Premier League or the EFL teams in the past 18 months. Those coming from abroad, for example, they're not covered. I mean, mate, how can you have...
Honestly, like, like...
When is a fine not a fine?
Why don't the fans got together, the fans around the world, or around the Premier League, got together and protested against the Super League? Why don't the fans get together and protest outside the Premier League headquarters? Is it Richard Masters? He's got a lot to answer for, mate. But you know what? The Premier League have picked up the fines. So they get 10 million from from Chelsea. And as I spoke to you about this on the phone, they've set the precedent now on what the terms are. So if Manchester City are guilty of 3 times the amount of rule breaks, they'll just say, well, there's 3 times the amount of fine. 30 million quid. they'll get away with giving Manchester City a slap on the wrist, and they'll say, well, because Chelsea got a slap on the wrist, City has to too. But Chelsea should never have got a slap on the wrist. And as I say, to me, questions have to be asked about the ability to audit the books, because the only reason we know about Chelsea's infractions is because Chelsea's new ownership came forward with it. And the only reason we know about Manchester City's infractions is not because the Premier League figured it out for themselves. It's because they got hold of some hacked emails. It's a fucking disgrace. And the Premier League are the people that are taking in the fine. They get 10 million from Chelsea. They got, I know the UEFA got the money from Aston Villa and Chelsea for the PSR breaches last year. And it's not as if, like, Chelsea, oh, we'll give you a slap on the wrist and you'll get a transfer ban if you breach the rules in the future. Meanwhile, they're selling their left hand to their right hand. They're selling their ladies' team to themselves. Meanwhile, as you pointed out yesterday, they can carry on conducting their business just via Blueco and via Strasbourg. And Chelsea are already on the hook for their breaches for the PSR rules in UEFA last year. So, like, this idea of, like, oh, it's their first offence. It's not their fucking first offence. They've been up to this bollocks for the fucking last decade. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Sean, it's even worse than that, because this cheating is allowed them to have a golden age where they have earned untold hundreds of millions of pounds through success, sponsorship, Champions League qualification, winning titles, winning trophies, all off the back of the fucking cheating. All off the back of it.
All the great players that they sign, like Lavia, right? Let's just think for a second. Liverpool wanted to sign Caicedo, right? Caicedo goes to Chelsea because Chelsea, in the eyes of Caicedo, are a bigger draw than Liverpool. Why? Well, maybe it's money, but also because Chelsea have got a higher frequency of success recently than Liverpool do. Liverpool have got not a bad recent success, but Chelsea's in the last 10 years, since Caicedo's been growing up playing football, Chelsea are one of the biggest teams in the Premier League. Lavia would have gone to Liverpool and been their star number 6. Instead, he decides to go and play backup at Chelsea, again for the same reasons. Chelsea are still benefiting today from the crimes of their forefather. And there is no consequence, Johnny. And this is the thing. When I was having these arguments and rows about Daniel Levy and ENIC over the last 3 or 4 years, and these guys say it's all internal. It isn't internal. The reason why Tottenham Hotspur do not win as many trophies as they used to, and is relative to other teams, is in no small part because the rules are a fucking joke. They are a joke, mate. And should you really be angry at someone who runs your football club, as Newcastle, my man Newcastle Sniffer Dog there, says Newcastle participate within the rules, but they probably shouldn't, because they've got all the money in the world. They've got more money in the ground than has ever been printed in the history of humankind. Yet they, to some degree, or to the large degree, work within the rules. Chelsea don't, and there's no.
They've broken every rule. It's every rule. But hang on, they went on and had a golden age where they won everything, Sean. They won the title. They went all through the cheating. It's not just that. Listen to this one, right? You're not allowed to have contact with underage kids. Well, underage kids, you know, like there's an age limit, right? They've been FaceTiming academy targets. So on the academy front, Chelsea are accused of engaging prospective young signings at times when the rules forbid them to do so. The verdict found that they held a FaceTime call with one, invited another to their training ground, and organised personal merchandise for the third. The names of the players in question have been blanked out, right? So we can't be sure who we're talking about.
Oh, do you know what, mate? You know Rio Nguma, or whatever his name is.
He was player. At Chelsea, wasn't he?
My mum's best friend's son. My mum's best friend's son he works for a major sports merchandise.
I'll be 1 second. Carry on.
Works for a major sports merchandise. He was the guy that got Rio his first merchandise sponsorship when he was 10. So that was 7 years ago. 7 years ago, probably during this period. So I'm wondering whether I need to have a little word with my mum's best mate's son and say, well, you the guy that was handing out contracts when you shouldn't have been. Because I don't know, something's going on here. Something's going on. I don't know if when they say the academy it extends down to the under 10s or whatever, but listen, mate, it's a disgrace, Johnny. He said disgrace, but I don't know what the fans can do about it. And I think the Premier League know that. The Premier League know, right? Like they're free from. They're who's auditing the Premier League? You know, if they're the police, who's policing the police, Johnny? Because to me, it looks like it's a fucking corrupt institution where they give slaps on the wrist. And how is it that they're the beneficiaries and not the other teams that have been that are being put out of joint because of the consequences of the cheat?
Yeah, well, the other thing is, they are the first team to have 34 players out on loan. So they allowed them to do it. Then they cut the loophole after Chelsea had already done it. They sold the women's team to themselves. They cut it after they'd done it. They sold the hotel to themselves. Cut it out after they'd done it. And they also offered Mudryk an 8.5-year contract. 8.5-year contract. And now, after they signed all those contracts, they then stopped them from everyone else after Chelsea had done it. I mean, is there one rule for Chelsea? I mean, what does Chelsea have over everybody else? What does Chelsea have over UEFA? And by the way, if you're asking why I've got sunglasses on, guys, it's not because I'm trying to be cool or anything, but the sun is literally shining straight in my face at the moment. I hadn't expected to have a summer's day mid-March.
Nice, isn't it?
So,
nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Can't complain. But I mean, Sean, where does this leave football? Seriously, though, I mean, what is the point of having any rules whatsoever if this is going to be the situation? I mean, they should have had a points deduction, Sean. What is £10 million? It should have been 20 million, but because they complied, we're only going to make it 10 million. And you say it's an academy ban for 9 months. What's 9 months? Nothing. And it doesn't apply to anyone that's been here 18 months, and it doesn't apply to overseas players. Well, considering Chelsea seem to be buying everyone from Brazil and Ecuador and Venezuela and Colombia, it's basically an absolute and utter shit show. You know, I bending the rules a little bit, okay, skirting the line, but they're not even skirting the line. They're absolutely shitting all over the rule book. Absolutely. And then you look at the situation, which we'll move on to, and reports coming out of Aston Villa that Unai Emery are set to hold an emergency board meeting regarding the first team job. Tensions in the dressing room exploded after the disastrous performance against Manchester United, but the board believes that Emery should have delivered more. The club has gone from genuine title challengers to now risking missing out on European football entirely next season, which will not, but Champions League money. Missing out on the Champions League would trigger 100 million revenue shortfall, a critical blow under their strict UEFA settlement agreement and tight PSR rules, which they have been obliged to meet. This would almost certainly force the sale of team players to balance the books for both Europe and the Premier League. Those would include Morgan Rogers, Jacob Ramsey and the like. Club insiders have confirmed that discussions with potential successors have already begun in the case he gets sacked in the coming days. Unai Emery's last 4 Premier League games have been 3 losses and 1 draw. But here we got a club that's going to be affected by trying to abide by the rules, even though they themselves have tried to manipulate them. We mentioned yesterday about John Duran.
They're just not as good. They're just not as good as
Chelsea. But trying to sell John Duran.
No sympathy for Villa. They're just not as good as Chelsea.
No, because basically they sold John Duran for 70 million to Saudi Arabia when if he was worth 20 million, I'd be shocked. He wasn't even a starter. He was coming off the bench. And because the Egyptian owner has close ties and contacts and investment with the people in Saudi Arabia who paid the 70 million. And lo and behold, not even 6 months later, he's found himself in Turkey. So I don't really have any sympathy for them. They were at was it 90-something% of spend, weren't they?
Yeah, 97%, wasn't it?
96 and 97% of spend. So they found themselves in the situation. But really, would they really sack Unai Emery? Would they?
I don't know. I think he just feels like he's limited. I don't know. I don't know. But listen, I said this on the last show, mate. Fucking give me Unai Emery all day long.
I would take him. I would take him tomorrow. But you know, when you look at someone like Newcastle, who are Saudi themselves, obviously it's owned by the Saudi PIF, you haven't seen them trying to manipulate and selling 70 million pound players that are worth 10 million, because it's all subjective, the value, to Saudi Arabia to circumvent the rules. Why? Because it's glaringly obvious what's going on. And no doubt the Premier League would be investigating that pronto. They wouldn't be hanging around looking for that one, would they?
Actually, having said that, I mean, is there a Premier League investigation into the fact that the PIF fund are buying Electronic Arts, who are a major sponsor of the Premier League?
No. Sean, they can't even investigate a hotel sale or a women's sale. No, if Spurs now wanted to sell to get out of trouble if they got relegated, they couldn't even sell the women's football team to themselves because Chelsea and Villa already done it. Right? We got ourselves out of trouble, so that option's not available to everyone else now. Manchester City, 115 breaches, plus more that we don't even know about, no doubt, that haven't been uncovered. Could anyone else do that and get away with it? No, not a chance. Not a chance. Look at Spurs' financial irregularities under Alan Sugar. There was a threat of getting relegated out of the league.
Yeah.
I just honestly, right now, and it seems to be that it's Chelsea all the time. And I'm beginning to think, though, that this seems to be having...
Well, did you say that they've uncovered 75 more charges? Or is that the thing that was announced a while ago?
Hang on, let me just check.
I'm pretty sure they had an initial set of charges. Then a few months ago, they also found 75 new ones. So it brought it up to like 100 charges or something.
Let me just check again before let me read it properly. Where are we? It says Chelsea are also still waiting for the conclusion of a separate Football Association investigation into 74 breaches, which could well result in further punishment. And according to the Premier League sanction agreement, there were not only obvious and deliberate breaches of the rules, but also involved deception, concealment in relation to financial matters. Consequently, they've been uncovered without Chelsea's current owners.
Okay, cool, right? So let's hope then when they say we've got you a 2-year transfer ban suspended for 1 year.
Because you complied.
Pending that there's no more breaches. Well, let's hope that if they find breaches within those other 74 things, then that will be the kicker into a transfer ban and a points deduction, right? But what they'll probably say is, yeah, they're guilty of these two, but because we started that investigation before we gave this particular conclusion, then those breaches don't count. We're talking about further breaches in the next 2 years, you know?
I forgot about Everton Slipher. Thanks very much for that one. I knew there was another one.
Did you hear what I just said, or were you listening to something else?
Sorry,
you went
sorry. No, I just saw that. I just saw that. Sorry, Sean. I just was reading. It wasn't that.
No, it's all right. It's fine.
Sorry, I just saw.
No, it happens all the time to me as well. It happens all the time.
No. Go on, say that again. Please say it again.
I'm just saying that, like the 75 breaches, right? So if they're waiting,
no,
for
I heard that.
So if the 2-year ban that they currently have is like suspended, pending that there's no more breaches. Or if the next verdict comes down that there's more breaches, are they then going to impose the ban? Or are they going to say that was like, we started that investigation before this conclusion, therefore we're not talking about them, we're talking about if there's any further breaches that we don't yet know about?
You know it's not going to happen, mate. And there'll be another excuse. There'll be another excuse. The truth of the matter is, I'd like to see who's getting paid to step aside, allegedly. I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe what I see. I don't believe what I read. I just believe the corruption is so bad. And I'd like to see us stop the corruption campaign from fan groups against this bullshit.
So I mean, go and protest outside the Premier League and say you're a fucking disgrace. You're clearly corrupt. You're clearly bought and paid for by the world. They're clearly paying you off book. They're clearly sending you Bitcoin or whatever else, because it's outrageous that the Everton and Nottingham Forest got 6 and 4 points deductions, and yet Chelsea get away with a slap on the wrist for the second time. By the way, they got exactly the same slap on the wrist with the UEFA fines last summer.
Yeah,
and so did Aston Villa, right, where they get to benefit by cheating to get into the tournament, where they're going to earn 100 million quid. They get to stay in the tournament and then only get a 20 million quid or whatever it is fine. It's outrageous. It's the equivalent of like seeing that there's a Ferrari across the street. You steal the Ferrari, and if you get caught, if you don't get caught, you get away with it. If you do get caught, you still get to keep the Ferrari, and all you got to do is pay the fine of, like, I don't know, pay the excess on the guy's insurance, but you still get to keep the Ferrari anyway. It's a fucking disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace.
And
disgrace.
But the thing is, you know, this 115 charges for Manchester City, it's the longest running court. I mean, when have you ever heard a financial case running on for years on end? I mean, it's just, they are scared to announce the results of this.
Yeah.
But Chelsea won the league due to illegal activity. It's as simple as that. Eden Hazard and William and David Luiz helped them win that league by 7 points that season. Clear, right? They entered the Champions League.
I just don't think it's about one season, though, mate. I feel like
it's not.
It's about the ongoing benefit of their...
Well, that is 7 years up to 2018. That's just the 7 years.
Even today, today, they are benefiting from their misdeeds, right?
Yes, 100%. 100%. And I don't know. There should be more uproar amongst fan bases, because you just cannot have when you've got clubs scurrying around trying to make FFP and PSR, not signing players. I mean, there's lots of rumours that Daniel Levy's left Spurs in a bit of a financial bind, really, for some of the deals or some of the activities that's going on. I'm sure we'll find out more detail as time goes on, but. You know, but it's all been Daniel's whole shtick was about, but when we move into a bigger stadium, our FFP and PSR will be meeting all the requirements. Well, there you go.
Ryan, I know you got bigger fish to fry, mate, like Tottenham right now, potentially, you know. Listen, look, at the end of the day, Ryan.
Great comeback last night, by the way, Ryan. Great comeback.
Yeah, well done last night, mate. The Wolves are showing so much fight, mate. So much fight. Listen, we've been talking about for half an hour, Johnny. We'll turn that into a clip, because at the moment it's just anger and outrage and frustration. But something has to change about it. Let's move on, mate. Champions League games tonight. Should we have a little chinwag about the Champions League?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Massive game. Bodo Glimt first up, 5:45. They are my go-to team now. I had a soft spot before they came in the league this season after last year. Thought they were down and out, but that last game, last minute, getting that result gets them into the knockout stages, and ever since they've looked unbelievable. Can they hang on at Sporting? I hope so. Unfortunately, they're going to probably face Arsenal. Yeah, 3-0. But it's a huge thing for them, right? It's a huge thing.
Another 12 million quid if they make it, mate.
Yeah, I mean it's massive. They build a whole stadium for 12 mil out there.
Good, yeah.
No, but I'd love to see them go through. Would they offer a threat to Arsenal? Maybe in the their home leg they would. Can they beat Arsenal?
Arsenal might go there and be. I think Bodo Glimt could surprise. Like they're just a team that perennially overperform. They stand up against the best teams in Europe at home. I mean, you have to sit there and go, well, fair play to Tottenham for drawing with them in the Champions League this year and beating them away from home last year, right? But
100%.
it's like credit where it's due to Ange and to Thomas Frank for doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
I genuinely think that Bodo Glimt will get past Sporting tonight. I think that they might lose 2-1 or 2-0 or whatever, but I think that they'll have enough about them. They're good.
I
enough
hope so.
Possibly. I think so. And then in the second, we don't even know. I mean, we'll come to the Arsenal game in a minute. Assuming it's Arsenal, I also think Arsenal are a team that could be vulnerable on that pitch because no one's used to it, and you're never going to be used to it. You're never going to be used to it. I know Arteta might have they've always ticked every T or every I'd and crossed and dotted.
Oh, he will hire a. You know what he'll do? I mean, Arteta's so anal. He will hire a plastic pitch and he'll have people shouting at the players in training in Norwegian with a megaphone.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of whales dancing on the sideline or whatever,
throwing carrots at him or something. I mean, I don't
get
know
a bunch of Helgas in for the distraction.
Yeah, but no, I think the vast majority of European fans, neutrals, are all rooting for Bodo Glimt because it is an unbelievable story, and Hoga has probably been the star for me. Patrick Berg, Hoga,
and Hogue.
Yeah.
They're three superstars,
They really are.
They're all fit. They're all fit and ready to go. So I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine tonight. Before we move on to the next game, big up to Sniffer for the super sticker, my man. Always here, always supporting Sniff Dog. Love you, my man. I hope you're okay, bro. Choo choo to you, bro. Choo to you. Thank you very much indeed, mate, for your support everywhere you go. And Georgie also, mate, another constant supporter right now, Georgie. You're everywhere. Everywhere I go, bro, you're there supporting.
Thank you, Georgie.
Thank you, Georgie. Appreciate you, mate. Very, very generous. Very,
with
very
the telephone, we can't convince him to change the.
He's not changing. Emoji. He's not changing. I'm not leaving my chavvy behind. Choo to all in the chat.
Chavvy forever.
Chat.
Yeah,
100%. Absolutely fine. He's come out, by the way. He's come out with another fucking like inspirational, motivational quote. I've said on Twitter, if that guy could pass a ball as well as he passes like an Instagram motivational meme test.
Oh, what's he done now?
Player. Oh, he said something like, even when I'm on an empty tank, I'll still outperform the full tanks because that's what we do. That's what I do. Or some bollocks. Like, shut up, you fucking social media player. Shut up, mate. How about fucking show us on the pitch?
Even though I'm on an empty tank because I spent all night having a wank. That's why he's got no energy on the bloody pitch, and that's why he's sitting on the touchline. Look, Arsenal versus Bayer Leverkusen. No Odegaard and Julian Timber is definitely out. They've actually got an injury. Can't believe it. They'll probably make that as an excuse. You would expect Arsenal to win this comfortably tonight against the Bayer Leverkusen team. This team has been basically decimated from sales last summer. But amazingly, they've done really, really well in this competition. But there's been a lot of criticism. Thierry Henry was trying to defend Arsenal's style. He says he respects his ability to find a winning formula. But most neutrals, Sean, as I mentioned earlier, don't want Arsenal to win anything because of the manner of their football. The fact that I think the last count, I think it was 31 set piece goals. The way the luck has changed for them and the way the referees have been lenient on them, the way they've got 50-50 decisions, the way Man City have got them against them, Arsenal have had them in their favour. They're not a popular, they could be, looking at the press and some of the comments, they could be one of the most unpopular teams to ever win the Premier League due to the style. I mean, do you not think, having spent 250 million on players, that they should be playing with a bit more freedom, Sean? Because I certainly do. I mean, listen, it's not an anti-Arsenal show, even though we're Spurs supporters. It's just, this is Thierry Henry talking about the fact that he understands why there's so much outrage in the way they're playing football. It's not pretty to the eye. It's really not. It's been criticised largely owing to their reliance on the set pieces. It's more than a third of their goals.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is, mate. But like I say, and we spoke about this a couple of days ago. They're just the most successful format of a new vision of football, which I fucking hate. I think most people hate it. But look, it's working for them. I wish it wasn't working for them. Just not so much just because they're Arsenal that's doing it, but I would like to see attractive possession-based football that's rewarded, or clever football that's rewarded. Not this version of football. And this version of football for me is just destroying my enjoyment for the game. That and the fact that the Premier League lawmakers can't hold anybody to account that's got smarter minds in the room, and we're supposed to just sit there and think that there's nothing to see here, and that we're just supposed to sit there and take the fact that Chelsea get away with it, and City will clearly too. Those sorts of things that erodes the value and the confidence in the game, the trust in the game, and obviously, like I say, the way that football is moving, it's just moving into a direction that I can't stand. But the pendulum always swings one way a little bit too far, and then eventually it recalibrates. So
I just hope next season
it won't be too long before before it gets better.
I agree. I just hope next year this pendulum swims back to less reliant on set pieces. When you have someone like Thierry Henry, who's an Arsenal legend, saying a lot of people are like anyone but Arsenal to win the league or win anything, he said. I wanted Liverpool to win the league when I was playing because I wanted Jamie Carragher and Stevie G to win the league because I love them as players. Whether I like Liverpool or not, you root normally for the underdog, for the team that could not do it or failed. But for some reason, a lot of people in the fan base and in the media don't want Arsenal to win the league.
Mm.
There is something about Arsenal and the way they've gone about it, whether you like it or not, whether it's the style of football. You have to applaud them. I'm sorry, I can't applaud that. I find it angers me watching Arteta on the sidelines, the dark arts using every single thing. But I think today they will win this quite comfortably. Do you not think? Or do you think they'll have one eye on the final on Sunday?
Listen, I think they'll get past Leverkusen in the end, but I think that Leverkusen, let's have a look at Leverkusen's team.
It's shone of all the stars, really. Most of them are gone.
Leverkusen drew 1-1 with Bayern Munich at home on the weekend.
Yeah.
And they had a team that included, they've still got, they've got Kwanzaa, the Liverpool player. They've got Tapsoba, unbelievable.
Yeah.
They got
good defense.
Equi Fernandez in the midfield. Alex Garcia, cracking player who scored the goal in that game. Love him. They got Ernest Poku, he's like the young left wing back who's very, very fast. Terrier, Martin Terrier, the French striker. I think he's French. Yeah, he is. Yeah, the French striker.
He snaps at your heels, doesn't he? That Terrier.
Yeah. He's They got Malik Tillman. They got Patrick Schick. Mate, they got players that can hurt, man.
Listen, we're big fans. You and I are big fans of Tillman, right? I thought the penalty, despite what Martin Keown said, was soft at best. Listen, I hope that gives them a good game tonight. Listen, I want Premier League.
If Arsenal are off it, they've got players that Terrier or Terrier, however you say it, Tillman and Patrick Schick are three players that can hurt. Garcia is a top player. Tapsoba at the back. If Arsenal give away a couple of corners, Tapsoba is a big fucking lump, And Jerome Kwanzaa as well is a
Liverpool should never have sold him.
Sorry, not Jerome, Jarrell. He's they have a decent team, mate. They have a decent team. And I think that they can pose a threat. Do I think that Arsenal will have enough to get through? Of course, but I don't think it will be one-sided. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know.
Listen, I am surprised at how many players that they sold in the summer, that they've produced such good performances this season. That's for sure. So what are you saying? What do you reckon there?
I think Arsenal will win the overall tie.
I'm going to go 2-1.
I think they'll win 2-1 tonight. I think we 3-2 overall. Yeah.
Okay.
But if if Leverkusen score first, there'll be a red card. There'll be something that will happen that will give them because every game.
I'm saving that for the end.
There's never a fucking game where neutral fans don't go, how did they get that? It's every single game. There's some story in the Arsenal game where, for the most part, it's like most neutral fans go, Arsenal got away with one.
You know who's one of their best forwards? One of their best forwards is Rick O'Shea.
An Owen goal, yeah.
I mean, listen, Rick O'Shea. How many times you see? I mean, that cross from Dowman, right? I don't know what Pickford had at half time. He misses it, but it just hits Hincapie. He didn't know anything about it, and it hits him. It could have gone out, could have gone anywhere, but no, it rolls on the line for the masked invader to to take it across the line. But no, I think they'll do it. What about?
Just quickly, Johnny, big up to Eamon O'Shea with the super chat. Big up to you, Eamon. Says big up. Enjoy Paddy's Day. I already am, mate. I already am. Ta 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 ta. And big up to
we're having it twice, Eamon. Just to
don't
be
you
sure,
point
to be
at me.
Sure.
Don't you fucking point at me, Johnny. Don't you fucking point at me, Johnny.
We're having it twice, just to be sure. To be sure. Adam Scorlock.
Sure. And Adam Score Drawlock. Big up to you, mate. He says big up my Football Inc. family. Big up to you, mate. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Thanks to all you guys for the support of the show. We love doing this with you. There's 422 people here. We've got the subscriber mode only on. All you got to do is smash the subscribe button to participate in the chat, and we love you for it. Let me also just quickly, whilst I'm here, guys, if there are of the 400 people that are here that are watching on your phones or on your computer or whatever, can you just do us a favor and click that link? That link right there. Just click that link. Open up another tab and give us a little follow. Really appreciate that. And whilst you're there, you might as well do the same for Apple Podcasts as well. Let me get that on.
If you could do this, guys. I mean, it's it might seem,
believe it or not, it's free. It's easy for you guys to do, but the more that the channel grows on podcasts, for some reason, podcasts are viewed as more attractive to advertisers than YouTube. I don't know why. So from a business point of view, we'd love it if you could support us on the podcast platform. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Manchester City versus Real Madrid. Can City come back from this one? The form seems to have deserted them.
I don't think so, but because I think just Real Madrid. Look, it's the same sort of temperament, Johnny, as the environment within what Tottenham have got to handle tomorrow night. Right, you're 3 goals down, and the same with the Sporting Bodo game. But the reality, and the same with the Chelsea game, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah,
like you're still in the game, right? You've got a 3-goal deficit. You coming back? Like how often have I been saying to everyone, and I'm sure you agree, that it's settled science. It's settled science that playing at home second leg is better than playing at home first leg. And
used to be
in the first round, in the first leg of this round, most of the teams that played at home first leg got themselves 3-goal advantages and can now sit back and wait for the other team to have to throw all caution to the wind. And so in all of the games, Real Madrid, Man City, PSG, Chelsea, Sporting Bodo, and Tottenham, Atletico Madrid, all 4 of those teams that are at home have to throw everything at it from the get-go. You're throwing all in the kitchen sink. And what happens? Well, with that means that you're going to have to be, you could be cut wide open on the counter. And so Manchester City are going to have to throw absolute caution to the wind. They're going to have to throw everything at it. And then Real Madrid have got the players that when they, not every pass is going to go where it's supposed to go, Johnny. And then consequently, those players are might be picked off, right? And who do the last player in world football that you want to be able to have a complete run at goal because everyone's up the pitch is someone like Vinny Jr.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I think
Mbappe or whoever else.
So yeah, I mean, look, Mbappe's back tonight. I think it's 33 goals in 38 games or 38 goals in 33 games. I can't remember which way around it is, but it's impressive whichever way. But it's interesting. I used to like the away goal rule away goals count double, where you were rewarded for scoring away from home, so you didn't like shut up shop and try and block it out. You know, you were rewarded for scoring a goal away from home, which would have meant that Spurs would have been rewarded for those 2 goals, because basically 3-0 gets you through. Yeah. Same
it requires
with
4. It requires 4, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or it requires a penalty shootout. You know, and how many of the teams that have got a 3-0 deficit really can afford to go to extra time? I don't know what Bodo's situation is in the Norwegian league, right, or Sporting's in the Portuguese league, but I would imagine that Manchester City, the last thing City want is an extra 30 minutes against Real Madrid, right? The last thing that Tottenham need is an extra 30 minutes against.
100%.
Thing that Chelsea need in their pursuit of the top 4 or 5 is an extra 30 minutes against PSG. So you're going to have to throw caution to the wind to try to score 4. And it might happen. It might happen, right? Because you never know. But it's just as likely that say, Tottenham, for example, could score 3 goals against Madrid. But it's just as likely that we could end up 3-0 down because you're getting picked off.
I mean, I wonder whether Man City, with the way the season's looking, this tie looks like it could be a stretch too far. The title looking a stretch too far. Whether they might actually have one eye more focused on the Carabao Cup final on the weekend, even though Mark Gahey can't play, so Mark Gahey will definitely start whatever. I don't know, but it would have been more interesting if you had the away goals rule in these games. You know, Chelsea losing 5-2, 3-0 win. Same with Man City. Same with Spurs. Sorry, no, same with Spurs, not with Man City. I can't see anything other than a Real Madrid going through. No Joe Bellingham.
Yeah, we were doing Glenn Hoddle. He's almost a bit of a fortune teller. You know, he's a little bit like Harry, but he speaks with a higher octave and a little bit whispery, Johnny. I've got to be honest, mate. I feel like there's a chance for Tottenham. I feel like there's a chance for all these teams. Some would say I'm a little bit prescient, you know. Some would say it. But before we go any further, Johnny, I just want to bring up Dio's comment here. He says, I would subscribe, but I don't want to pay for any more of Johnny's holidays. Dio, you don't have to pay anything for the subscribers, mate. You don't have to pay. A little bit of prescience, buddy. A little bit of Magic 8-Ball stuff, What do you think, Johnny? Got to correct the Dio, Matt, the narrative.
I mean, I've got to be honest with you, Glenn Hoddle, when you compare, and guys, you can relate this, whether you're a Spurs fan or whoever you support. When you watch Martin Keough or Alan Smith commentating on Arsenal games, their bias is embarrassing, all right? Alan Smith, I thought that was definitely a penalty. Oh, no, there was nothing in that. And Keough's the worst of the lot, right? And then you've got Glenn Hoddle. He comes on TNT Sports. He doesn't stop slagging Spurs off. They're rubbish. They're no good. The play's rubbish. They don't deserve anything out of this game. I mean, he's been doing that for about 3 or 4 years. I thought after a heart attack, he might have stopped and packed it in. But no, he doesn't do it. So what are we thinking, Sean, in this one?
For Manchester City, Real Madrid, I'm going to say 2-2 on the night. Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to go 3-2 Real Madrid. I'm going to go 3-2 Real Madrid again. 3-2 Real Madrid. I can't see City coming back from this. And the last game, Chelsea, cheating bastards versus Paris Saint-Germain. The PE teacher dragged out of Strasbourg against Strasbourg's fans' wishes. We're taking your manager, whether you like it or not, and he's coming to Chelsea. Is he out of his depth, Rosinha? I mean, some of his comments. Yeah. I mean,
I said it as soon as he came in. I saw that whole fucking managed thing. I was like, this guy is just gonna fucking he's gonna be a meme, a walking, talking meme. I kind of liked the thing when he said, "Get the fuck out of our half, get in your own fuck." I kind of liked him. I respected a bit of that, but for a minute, yeah, I do think he thinks he's a tough guy, but he's not a tough guy.
you know. I think he's a bit of a donut, and I don't think he's good enough. And I think I think he'll be gone within a year.
I think he could be gone by the summer.
Possibly.
Chelsea fans, I see you in the chats, Chelsea fans saying, shut up, stop yapping, stop talking, mate, digging yourself a hole. It's embarrassing. Your stuff you're coming out with, going on that they should have had a penalty when it was nowhere near a penalty. And the huddle, the embarrassing huddle.
Yeah.
I posted one actually of Richie in a huddle, in the centre of a huddle with the Liverpool players on the weekend doing Ring of Roses. It's like, I don't know. I've normally I want English teams to do well, or British teams to do well in the Champions League, but I'll be brutally honest with you, I couldn't give a shit if Chelsea go out. It's angered me so much. It's nothing against Chelsea fans. I've got to tell you, I don't have a problem with that. It's the system and what's gone on, and how these clubs are handling it. And the fans, the Chelsea fans as well. I don't think these owners give a shit about Chelsea fans, just like our owners don't give a shit about us Spurs fans. But I think Paris Saint-Germain were going to have too much. Kvaratskhelia, he didn't even start him last time. Barcola and Desiree Doué started, and it was tight. Got to be honest, it was very tight. But then he's come back in and he's come on, Kvaratskhelia, and he's scored two, great goals. I can't see anything other than Paris Saint-Germain going through. And Paris Saint-Germain, Sean, they go at half speed. They play within themselves. And should they need to, they just go up a gear and finish the game off. We saw it when we played them 2-0 up, and they just went into overdrive with like 15 to go. They did the same against Chelsea last week. And if you remember last year, they only scraped through at the last minute to qualify, low down, and ended up beating Liverpool, and then just smashed past everyone from that point. And I think with Ndombele and the likes, I can see them going all the way to the final potentially, but they got to play Real Madrid next, which is going to be an unbelievable game if those two go through. But I'm going to go for Paris Saint-Germain to come out 3-1 winners against Chelsea tonight.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same thing. I think Chelsea have to strap on a pair, get it done. PSG I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea got the first goal, maybe even the second goal, and then it's squeaky bum time. But actually, PSG are just the team that always start a little bit slow, but then come back and just when you get a little bit of confidence, they just pull you apart. For me, I think Vitinha is one of the best players in world football. I absolutely adore him, and they've got so much talent at the top end of the pitch. So for me, I think that it will end up being 2-2 or 2-3 to PSG. But I think Chelsea will have Chelsea will get themselves into a position where the Chelsea fans will be lured into thinking they've got something going on here. But ultimately, PSG will just turn it on a gear in the second half, and then they'll end up probably even losing the game because Chelsea will have to throw so much caution to the wind, and PSG have just got far too much talent. So, yeah, I'm going to say 3-2 to PSG on the night, and that would be what 8-4 on aggregate, something like that. That's what I think it's going to be.
I mean, I'll be watching the games tonight. I'll definitely be watching the Bodo Glint game. Which game will you watch tonight, do you think?
I'll flick around, mate. I'll flick around until I see the one that's got the most jeopardy.
I think I'll watch the Arsenal game until they score.
Yeah.
Probably, because that's the only one where there's sort of real jeopardy probably going. Some interesting news, laughable news, actually. Apparently, Spurs are after your mate, one of your favourite players, the one you love to talk about, Serge Guirassy, for a January signing. I mean, how old is he
January?
Now? 30? Summer.
Summer signing. Yeah, Serhu, not Serge. Serhu Guirassy.
Yeah.
He's a look, always got that one wrong, didn't I? Got that one entirely when I said he was a
Would you
a
be
lucky guy.
signing him for big money at 30? Is he 30 now or 31? No, hang on.
29, 30, something like that. Yeah, let's have a look. Serhu Guirassy is 30, yeah. He's just turned 30 though. 29, just turned 30.
I can't see that.
He's got 12 goals this season for Dortmund in the Bundesliga. Look, better player than I gave him credit for. I'll be honest, better player than I gave him credit for. But it did take him until he was 27 to become a decent player. He was bang average in France and bang average before he exploded in the late bloomer, a grower, not a shower.
And here's another one for our Newcastle guys in the chat, because we know there's quite a few Newcastle fans in here. Barcelona are closely monitoring one of the best left-sided best players left back in the country right now, Lewis Hall. Fantastic player. He's got to go to the World Cup, hasn't he? Do you not think?
Who are the other options as left back?
I don't know. I just think. Well,
yeah, probably he'll be there. He'll be there.
I think he's got to be. In there. Trying to see what else. Liverpool trying to hold Curtis Jones at the club despite interest from Tottenham and Inter Milan. That must be a tough one for him, huh? Stay at Liverpool, go to Inter Milan, or come to Spurs. I can't see. I mean, what are we doing here?
We got to catch up, Johnny, on the prediction. I know we went through all the games yesterday, but we got to give a quick update on all of the predicciones.
Yeah, we didn't do the scores. We didn't do the scores.
We
yesterday.
haven't done Brentford Wolves as well.
Last one I'll just do is for Newcastle fans again, because we know we've got quite a few in here. Newcastle are exploring the chance to bring Elliot Anderson back home to Newcastle, which I think would be a great move for them. It would give them a fantastic midfield. Can you imagine that?
Well, they got to replace
Tonali and the rest of them. Yeah,
I think Tonali will leave in the summer.
Yeah. Okay,
right. Should we just keep up on a quick update on the old predicciones, mate? Let us know where everyone is, because listen, you guys have made it too easy. I've been leading from game week one. Guys. When are you going to catch up? When are you going to start doing?
How did we do last week? How do we do this week?
We're going to do it right now.
Who's going to win this weekend? Got to predict the scores. Got to be Nostradamus, picking wins, losses, and draws. Who's going to win this weekend? Got to predict the scores. Got to be Nostradamus, picking wins, losses, and draws.
Burnley versus Bournemouth, Johnny. What was the scoreline? I went for 2-2. The chat went for 2-2. You went for 2-1 to Bournemouth. The score was
0-0 to Burnley.
So a point for me, 0 point for you, a point for the chat. Sunderland versus Brighton.
What did you go?
I went 2-0 Sunderland. You went 2-1 Sunderland. The chat went 1-1.
It was 1-0 to Brighton. Minte scoring, Sunderland having a goal disallowed.
0 point across the park. Arsenal versus Everton.
What did you go for?
1-0 Arsenal. And then you went 2-2 and the chat went 3-0. So I get a point because it was 2-0. You get nothing again, Johnny. And the chat gets
consistent. I'm consistent, Sean, right? Consistent.
Yeah, lots of O's. X's and O's. Chelsea versus Newcastle.
I think I would have got that draw. Chelsea versus Newcastle. What did you go for?
I went 1-0. The chat went 0-0. You went 2-1 Chelsea.
And it was 1-0 to Newcastle. Anthony Gordon with a tap-in after the break.
So 0 point across the park. West Ham versus Manchester City.
How that one ended a draw. 24 shots from Manchester City. West Ham had 1 shot the entire game and scored. 1-1. Did anyone have a draw?
No. Crystal Palace versus Leeds. What was the score there?
What did you have?
I had 1-1. You had 2-2. Chat had 1-1.
It was 0-0.
So we all get a point. Man United versus Villa. I went 2-0 to United. You went 3-1 to United. So did the chat. So we all get nil. Oh no,
No.
No, sorry, we don't.
I got 3 points. It was 3-1.
Right.
And the chat got 3 points.
3 points. Yeah, sorry, I was going the wrong way around.
Thank God I got myself out of it there.
Fulham, Forest versus Fulham.
What did you go?
1-1. You went 2-2. Chat went 2-0 to Fulham.
It was 0-0. So you and I both get a point.
And then Liverpool versus Spurs. We all got.
What did
wrong.
you go? What did
I
you
went
go?
5-1. You went 6-2. And the chat went 3-2 Spurs. He was closer. So
he was closer, much closer.
And then Brentford versus Wolves last night. We all got wrong. I went for a home win. You went for a home win. And the chat went for an away win. It was a draw. So nil points.
Wolves could have won it at the end.
I had Benjamin Sesko. Did he score any goals? Did he get any assists?
He got a goal.
You had Igor Thiago.
He got a goal, I'm sure. Hang on. I'm sure he got a goal. Let's have a look. Are you sure he got a goal? Igor Thiago got a goal.
It was. I think you said it was 0-0 Crystal Palace Leeds.
You said Igor Thiago.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of someone else. Sorry, donut behaviour. So you got a goal. And what about Krupi for Bournemouth?
Krupi was 0-0.
So nil point. So that means that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points in total. You've got 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points in total. And the chat that have just absolutely collapsed recently, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points in total, which means, guys, that at game week 30, I go to 237 points.
Plenty to play for, chat. Plenty to play for.
You go to 188 and the chat go to 198.
I'm only 10 behind, Sean.
You're 10 behind the chat, but the chat is 39 points behind yours truly. I don't know what you want from me. I've left from
Harry
game
would
week
be on
1.
this horse right now. If Harry was on this horse, he'd be having £5 each way on me catching the chat.
Absolutely. Don't back against that dog. He's at that horse. He's coming in strong at the back post.
Terrific.
Don't write him off. He's absolutely fantastic. Guys in the chat, listen. Who was it that wanted it? Was it John George? You wanted to do this week's one, mate. We'll be back on Friday. You guys have got to pull your. I've got 39-point lead. It's Arsenal times 2 here. I don't know what we're doing. I'm going to go and get myself the biggest fucking trophy.
Listen, Friday's one, Sean, because I've got that meeting at 2:45. We'll have to go at like 1 o'clock, 1 till 2 or something that day. Because but we'll just so you know, guys, John George, if you want to be on around about that time, between 12 and 1, I would thought something to like that sort of time, or I actually can't believe. Let's see if there's any other news before we sign off.
Covered it, mate. I think we covered it. Decent
yeah,
hour.
I think we have. What's this? Oh, hang on. Tottenham Hotspur. Mickey van der Ven hits back at reports saying Spurs players have stopped caring amidst the relegation fight. Do you believe him? Of course, I've seen things.
I watched his press conference. He's obviously back being captain again tomorrow night. He looked like he was very downbeat and despondent. He said it's not true. It's not true. The journalists just make things up. We're all fighting. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't believe him, to be honest. So
no. It just brings much more trouble because fans are starting to believe this. No, mate, they're believing it because they see your body language on the pitch. They see you offering to punch fans' lights out because you've played appallingly and they're venting their anger. But instead of going off the pitch and keeping your distance, you march over and start doing the pointing. And you know what I feel about pointing and having a go. You Yeah, that's not the way to react. It's based on substance, based on players like Xavi Simons walking past the fans when they're trying to applaud them, blanking them, right? If you want support, the fans are behind you. The fans are ready, but you've got to show something on the pitch. And maybe his spirits have been lifted by the performance that he wasn't part of yesterday at Anfield on Sunday. So that's it. But guys, thanks very much for being here today. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe button. And Sean, if you put the link in there again for the audios just before, if you haven't done it already, guys, please hit the audio link and hit the follow button so that you can listen to us. We're trying to grow the audio numbers. That's where the growth is for the channel, as well as this on Spotify and or Apple pods, so you can listen to us in bed or when you're trying to run away from the wife or walking the wife. You can listen to the show and have a laugh. Anyway, guys, drop a comment, hit the subscribe. Thanks very much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the football, and it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Take care, guys.
Bye.